the Andes. A single mountain chain, yet a tale of two very different economies. On the western slope, Chile, a global copper powerhouse, producing nearly a quarter of the world's supply. Of the 20 largest copper mines on Earth, 11 are here in the Andes. Chile and Peru turned copper into an economic engine. On the eastern slope, Argentina, same geology, same mountains, but zero copper production. For decades, restrictive policies kept the industry closed. The potential was there, the opportunity wasn't, but now something has changed. Milei started a big change in the whole economic system.
Who's that guy from Argentina? The guy that just became the president of Argentina with the wacky hair? That guy's amazing. He's like, everybody out! Everybody out! He kicked out everybody. He cut that budget down to nothing. He got rid of all the bullshit.
Since Milei is there, there's a kind of momentum. Everybody really says, okay, let's create more business. Let's open up to mining. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For 20 or even 30 years, nothing has happened. Zero happened in mining. So suddenly you have a whole new province opening up.
President Javier Milei's sweeping reforms are rewriting the rules. Provinces once closed are now opening up, even to do simple prospecting activities, which really doesn't harm the environment a lot. You had to make an environmental impact assessment that had to be approved by Congress. This is before you even are allowed to do stuff like picking up rocks from the ground.
Now Mendoza has recognized that problem and said we're going to change the law. That takes a while. Until then, we have a state agency. It's called Impulsa Mendoza. We are taking care of environmental impact assessment on the account of the government's payroll.
This basically means that the government is paying for the environmental impact studies until the law is officially changed. And it's not only Milei, local governments are now moving by themselves.
Y un marco normativo consistente, la provincia avanza con una visión clara: explorar, desarrollar y producir con eficiencia y responsabilidad. Conoce más en invertirenmendoza.ar.
Since Milei is there, there's a kind of momentum. Everybody really says, okay, let's create more business. Let's open up to mining. For example, the province of Mendoza, and people may know the Malbec, the famous red wine Malbec. That's from Mendoza. And there was a lot of political backlash against mining, saying it's taking away resources from the wine industry and all that, and destroying the environment and makes it impossible to harvest wine. But then the people said, okay, actually that's not true, because the deposits are in the Andes, and the Andes about 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 meters high. There's no wine there. So was absolutely unnecessary to forbid mining in the province of Mendoza. And so the Congress of Mendoza has also done the same as all other provinces. They opened up for mining. And they're very supportive now. They're doing a lot of things to attract mining and to attract people from other countries to be active there and to invest there and to do something there.
The opportunity is now. Prior beliefs that there might be no copper in Argentina are getting proven wrong. London Group announced this earlier this year.
Lundin Mining announces initial mineral resource at Filo del Sol, demonstrating one of the world's largest copper, gold and silver.
Mendoza also lies across 4 metallogenic belts, with a potential of over 51 million tons of fine copper.
And this opportunity is the reason for the foundation of Argentina Metals. That is the company with which Titus Gebel and his partners are playing on this big opportunity. He was one of the founders and CEO of the 200 million market cap German energy and mining operator Deutsche Rohstoff AG, German resource joint stock company. That combination probably would be enough for me to be a solid investment case.
Sure, disclaimer, I'm Andy. Here I'm just sharing my personal insights on early stage investments.
Nothing what I'm saying here is financial advice or something. Stock investment is risky. You can lose everything, especially in early stage company. This is what I'm personally most interested in, because this is where you can get the huge payoffs. But please don't rely on me. Do your own research. And I'm compensated for doing this video. I'm doing this together with the MK Investment Conference. I'm not paid by the company itself. I think you should still know that. And I personally own shares in this company. So I'm kind of excited to see how it plays out in the future. Let's get back to the video. Can you name a ballpark of how many of the projects there could be right now, if at that point in time, that you basically could acquire or buy up? That would make sense to do so.
Well, I mean, interestingly, despite the fact that no exploration has been happening there, the licenses are all taken by somebody, right? Mostly it's local people, and they didn't do anything on it. So you have to negotiate with them. I think in the area that we are interested are about 40 or 50 licenses. So we cannot acquire all of them. But there are so many projects. As I told you, in the region where we are working now, in Mendoza, and in the Western Malak, are about, I would say, 20 interesting targets. And in Canada or Australia, there would be one company for each target, right? And now we are maybe 2 or 3 companies in Mendoza, and we are taking the pie and sharing it. And then later others will come in. So again, there's plenty of opportunities. And we are not talking about small copper deposits. We're talking about big and mid-sized in a world scale copper deposits. And that's what makes it so interesting, because it's a special situation, right? Yeah, we want to make discoveries, right? Because this is the highest leverage you have. So if we see, okay, this is our district, we have Argentina Metals will be a district play. We'll have a significant land portion in Mendoza. And we are going then to identify the most probable success targets. And then we are doing our homework, which is geophysics, geochem. And then we are defining drill targets, and we're going to drill. And then we hopefully find, maybe not the first drill hole, but eventually we're going to find copper. And then if we found copper, we say, okay, now we have identified the target. Then we do some extension of that target. And then we sit together with our shareholders and say, do we really want to make a big additional raise for all the infill drilling to have a final resource? Or is now the point in time that we partner with a big company and focus on our 5 other targets and ideally do the same again? I would say this is the most probable outcome, that once we have shown there is a resource, but it hasn't been finally defined. But geologists know, okay, you have 50 meters of 1% copper. Okay, there's something there, right? There's absolutely no doubt about that. And then from the geology, you can make your calculation how big this may be. And on that basis, you have a valuation that you can discuss with a big copper company that is looking for new deposits. And they say, okay, we pay you something for that, or we are going to invest another 70 million and earning up to 80-90% of the resource or whatever, and we keep 10%. This is normal business in the industry, but we have the option. We could also say, okay, this is such a huge target, so one of the biggest copper deposits in the world. Maybe then we stay in, and we would also find money to define the resource. Right. But I don't think that we will become a copper producer, because, I mean, we are talking, if this is a Chile-like copper deposit, it's about billions of dollars to establish a copper mine. So that is nothing that we would entertain. But again, the leverage is the highest when you're making discoveries. And in most parts of the world, especially Canada and Australia, it's very rare to make new discoveries because so much exploration has already happened. So people normally look at brownfield exploration. They look at things that have been looked again, and with a new view, they see that this is a completely different situation here. This is a new district that is known to have copper, and it's completely open, and it has never has been, or never is not true, but not much exploration has happened, not modern exploration in the last 30 years. So this is really virgin greenfield exploration, but for very, very large targets. It's a little bit like in Mongolia in the 1990s. And in so far, this is a Western country, right? It is, you have, I don't think there's much places in the world that are better for copper exploration than now Argentina. And that's why we are here.
Before diving deeper into the strategy and project stuff, let's see who's actually behind this. So we've already seen Titus Gebel, and he's been working in the resource sector since 2004. So he's been in there for a long time. Before he founded the German, the Deutsche Rohstoff AG, the basically only famous German resource company I know. He was director of the Canadian Junior Osisko, and he helped securing the exploration financing of the Malartic gold mine. In 2006, he became the co-founder and CEO of the Deutsche Rohstoff AG, which I've talked about before, which went public in 2010. Under his leadership, a gold mine and a tungsten mine in Australia were brought into production. A zinc joint venture with Glencore in Canada was formed, and a successful oil and gas production in USA was established. So, a few things he already got on his resume that he really, really well executed on. He retired as a CEO in 2015 at his own request, but he continues to be closely connected to the space, as most people do if they cannot stop working and doing stuff. So let's ask him what his goal and strategy for this project is. We know it's an Argentina Milei play on the structural change, but let's hear from him exactly what they're up to and what the strategy for this and where there's the big opportunity right now.
We have already started to acquire a license. We are already in negotiation with several parties. I would say until the end of the year, we have our position. We have established our position. And then at the end of the year, this is also the time when the snow has melted away, and then we can start immediately exploration. And so the idea is to then on the back of this license package, we go public at the TSX venture in the first quarter of 26. Because we have to prove a technical report first. So first we have to get the licenses, then wait until the snow is away, then do the technical report, and on that basis go public. So that probably takes until the first quarter of 26. And then we can raise additional money and start exploration or continue exploration on full force.
In regards to the team who's gonna make those milestones possible, we've already seen that, it's basically backed by the team of Dr. Titus Gebel, whom we've seen in the intro. And this is combined with the power of the Amantos Holding Group with a good amount of capital, which was also founded by him. The cool thing about this is they have their own team of engineers, geologists, and financial experts, which makes it possible for them to really, really evaluate a big number of companies, which is important as they have to go through like lots of projects and find the right ones how to play this big. And so they already have that. Obviously, that's exactly the expertise that you need to have if you run a proper fund, which they're doing. People on the ground to acquire the licenses, you have them internally already, or are you still looking for people to actually execute until the IPO?
We definitely will have to hire more people in Argentina on the ground, but we already have people there. We are very well connected in Mendoza already, so everybody knows us there. And insofar, that is already happening, but eventually we would need people on the ground that are there on a permanent basis, not as a consultant basis, as it's the case now. And insofar, this is going to happen. But we are active on the ground already. Let's
look at their incentive structure. For now, the incentives are pretty clear. I mean, the whole thing is financed privately, so lots of skin in the game and not really much of external money. And with that, I think priorities are straight. Everything that goes out of the company pretty much goes out of the pockets of the people who are driving this stuff. So I don't have any concerns with that. So from that perspective, it's a really, really good play. Let's look at how the goals and milestones go hand in hand with the cash that they have. As I said, it's basically a shell with 600K on in the bank account. But their strategy, if they want to fulfill their strategy, this obviously might not be enough. So let's look at that.
So we're looking now for about 3 to 5 million to acquire all the licenses and do the first exploration work. And so that we are in a very good position when we're going public next year, and then hopefully have immediately an increase in value.
I love the talks you have when the official part is over. Happy that the camera was still running and Titus gave me his blessing to put this in. I think that's a good end to this, where you can get a good feeling for what he himself is seeing in this Milei money opportunity. To the English speakers, there's captions for you to read along.
Also ich fand's mega spannend.
Es ist es auch wirklich, gell? Ich meine, Greenfield Exploration hätte ich normalerweise mit der Kneifzange nicht angefasst, weil das einfach so riskant ist. Aber hier haben wir wirklich eine einmalige Gelegenheit, die kommt auch nicht mehr wieder zu Lebzeiten, würde ich mal sagen.
Ich freue mich sehr auf den Investment Case. Ich freue mich tatsächlich jetzt schon irgendwie drauf zu sehen, was sich da in den nächsten Jahren entwickelt. Ich dachte mir die ganze Zeit, okay, als das Ganze mit Milei aufgekommen ist, irgendwas muss man machen können. Dann habe ich mit Wayne gesprochen, die Immobilien machen oder was auch immer, aber ich habe nie irgendwas gefunden, okay, was ist jetzt irgendwie so das Play dazu, und das hört sich jetzt irgendwie nach einer geilen Chance an.
Genau, das ging mir genauso. Uns genauso. Das kann man in Argentinien machen. Ich meine, ich hab so ein ETF gekauft, so über argentinische börsennotierte Firmen. Aber Argentinien hat so eine Chance im Kupferbereich, einer der führenden Weltproduzenten zu werden, und kombiniert mit den Regularien, Erleichterungen durch Milei, ist das eigentlich, und weil ich ja selber aus der Branche komme, habe ich gesagt, okay, das ist mein Argentinien-Play. Ja.